welcome to our YouTube channel, Physical and Financial Fitness. There's a lot of F sounds right there. Yes, and we're going to ask you if you would just like and share this right now and make sure you subscribe to it as well. We are here today and we've been talking about our mission, which we deal with 5 B's. And our mission is based on the Bible and is based on brain and is based on the body, budget, and business. And we've covered all of those. Look at our previous recordings. But today we are talking about another one of my favorite subjects is business. And I just want to say our mission is based on the scripture in 3 John 1, it says, "Beloved, I pray that in every way you may succeed and prosper financially and be in good health, physically, just as I know your soul prospers spiritually." So that's how we come up with physical and financial fitness. It's biblically based, and we want to talk to you today about business. Yes, I'm Rachel Glover.
And I am Dr. Grace.
Affectionately known.
Grace Patterson, affectionately known as Dr. Grace.
Yes. So today we're going to talk about business, and I love that because I've been an entrepreneur for 15 years now.
Wow.
I started it out and I did it 5 years part-time, and now it's been 10 years full-time. And I tell you, it's not for the faint at heart. It really isn't. But I want to talk about it because it's important that I realize if you, your personal finances have a lot to do with your business finances. So if you have had challenges with your personal finance, guess what? You're the same person that's running your business. Yes. So it's going to be challenging. So it's so important. You know, I'm not saying everything has to be perfect, and it does that, but you have to have an awareness of your business. And one of the main things that I've noticed, because my business is I do accounting and bookkeeping for businesses, so I get to see all the financial transactions and what how they manage their money. And the biggest concern that I have is commingling. They commingle their personal with their business, and that is a no-no. Whatever happens in your business is only business related. So you should have your business checking account, and you should operate solely out of that business account. And if you need money, there's ways you can get money, but please do not pay your personal bills out of your business. The other thing that I noticed is you making sure that you're tracking your income and tracking your expenses just like your personal. But for your business, it's so important because your cash flow is everything in a business.
Oh my goodness.
Cash flow to me is timing. It's being able to get the money from your client or your customer before you have to pay out the people that you employed to help you with your business. Mm-hmm. So that is a huge thing. Timing is everything with your business. Did you have anything about?
No, I'm hearing what you're saying. I'm learning. I'm gleaning. I'm just, when you said timing, I think about that, what they call I can't think of the name of it right now, but when I used to take piano lessons, that little thing that goes tink, 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 that sets the timing of the music.
That sets the timing.
Yeah, yes. So when you said timing, that is so true. Timing is everything. And the thing about, like you said, it's not for the faint of the heart, because you can't control other people's ability, willingness to pay on time.
Right.
And so what do you do in those situations when they don't?
Right. And so you have to develop systems, and I'm learning, especially being in business, not to deliver the product until you're paid. Hello, that just seems to be so simple. But when you're trusting people, and so that's the thing. Especially when you built a relationship, they know you give them a service, they're going to pay you for the service, which is different from products. Products, they're impulsive. As soon as you see the product, you're going to buy it, right? And so it's just getting you to the place where you can purchase it. But when you're doing with a service, you're the commodity. Then then it's a whole nother area. So you want to make sure that you have processes in place for your business, that your receivables flow. Like I do a lot of auto debits, just take the money, automatically. But not everybody works that way. So even getting deposits, if you have a big job that you're going to do, make sure you get half of the deposit or establish some kind of deposit up front where you can have some leverage, where you're getting your revenue and you can be able to pay the people you need to pay.
Right.
So the commingling is another thing. Make sure you identify your corporate structure. A lot of people don't understand that. They go into business because they like doing something and they can make money in it, but they don't understand the whole business part of it. And so you want to know what your corporate structure is, and what do I mean by that? Are you a sole proprietor doing business as, or do you have an LLC? And even with your LLC, it could be an S corp.
Yes.
Like what is that? Or you can have a C corp, or you can have a partnership. So it's so important. All of those have different tax advantages and disadvantages based on your business. You need to make sure you get some help with that. When you start a business, you need a community. You need a team to help you. You need someone to help you with your finances. You need someone to help you with your taxes. Those are two different things, because a person that maybe does your bookkeeping maybe not can help you identify all of the expenses that are deductible. Well, you have someone to prepare your taxes, a strategist to help you to strategize and limit your tax liability.
Yes.
And a lot of times people just preparing people's taxes and they haven't given them a strategy on how to.
Been there.
Yeah. So that's another thing. That's another area that we'd like to talk to you about. And the other thing is estimated taxes. A lot of times that get people in trouble, or businesses, especially LLCs, and even for your personal, you have to do a quarterly estimated taxes. And so that's why it's so important that your bookkeeping is done at least quarterly, just like how you get your oil changed every 3 months. Well, it used to be. Now we got oil that lasts for 10,000 miles and stuff.
Right.
But every quarter you should be able to assess your books, see where you are, how much income, how many expenses, what your estimated tax liability could be, because especially if you have multiple businesses.
Yes.
Maybe you have personal income, maybe you have a W-2 income along with your business, so that's going to have tax implications. And the biggest tax liability is self-employment tax, which is called the SE tax. And that is just a whole nother subject we need to talk about.
You gonna talk about that one by yourself.
I got a whole lot of detail on that SE tax.
Yes.
And how you can avoid it by coming to S Corp. And they're like, what is all of that, right? So
That's
we'll
right.
delve into that later. But we're talking about, being physically fit in your business.
Yes.
And making sure that you are getting your profits, because you're not in business not to make money, right?
That part.
Because even the IRS says after so many years, if you show a loss, this is just a hobby. You don't even have a business. So you have to have the intent to profit in your business, and you got to understand what's deductible and what's not. The IRS says if it's reasonable and necessary, then you can deduct it. Now you have to determine what's reasonable and necessary. No one else can determine that. Makeup may be reasonable and necessary for your business, but you have to create a narrative to explain, well, I'm on social media, I'm doing this, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
So it's create a narrative to determine what is reasonable and deductible for your business and necessary for you to make money.
Absolutely. And then you're probably like, well, what does that got to do with health? Okay, so if you're an entrepreneur, your business is only as healthy as you are, especially if you're in the business operation mode.
Yes.
She and I are on this journey to become business owners.
Yes.
And where we just oversee.
Yes.
And not be actually in the operation mode. So
Yes.
if
Yes.
you are someone where your hands, right now you're wearing multiple hats, and your hands, and you're the one who makes the final decision, and you're in the day-to-day activity of your business. And even if you're a doctor, if you're in private practice or in a group practice, you have to be present in order to make a dollar, right?
Yes, yes,
and so every patient represents a dollar, and if you don't see that patient, there's no dollars being made. So if you're not physically fit, or if you're down, if you're not feeling well, that can affect the income that is coming in. So that's why it's very important on the front end to make sure that you take care of yourself. So I have a story to tell you. So at my house, we have 3 generations in the house right now, and all of them caught this bug that is going around, right? I didn't, because I, on the front end, was in the gym, taking care of myself, making sure that I'm eating right, knowing my vitamin D level where it needs to be. I had just got some lab work done. My vitamin D was between 60 and 80. It was a little bit over 80. It was actually 82. But I make sure that my immune system is where it needs to be, so I don't be down for the count. Because if I am down for the count, it will count against me and my ability to produce. So it is very, very important that you understand that your business is only as healthy as you are if you're in the operation stage.
That's good.
So when you are in that stage, it's very, very important that you get your physical on time. One of the producers of the show was saying to me that he worked for a company, I think it was GM, and they were giving their employees, you had your physical for the year, they were giving them $1,000 for just going to get their physical, because GM understands if you're healthy, you're not calling in.
Right.
And they're getting more for their dollar by, I prefer to incentivize you to go find out what's going on before it happens, so you can show up to work, right? Because every business, the most expensive part or money loss is when people don't show up to work. So it is very, very important that you take care of yourself as a business operator, if you're an operator right now, to make sure that you are physically fit to run the business, oversee the business, whatever you may be in right now. So she and I are in personal development to become leaders, so we can just oversee our businesses. But right now we're, in that transition phase. We, even after that, even as a leader to oversee, we still want to open maybe multiple locations, and you still need to be able to be physically fit to be able to develop and cultivate and have the clarity of mind.
The clarity, absolutely.
The clarity of mind by taking care of yourself, so you can plan and you can project and make sure you're doing the things that you need to do. So the business part, for the health part, your business is only as healthy as you are physically in your body.
I love that. Excellent. I know at work, at my office, there's space, and I usually walk. I'll get up and I'll walk. Every time I go to the restroom, I'll just do a lap, just walk. Those are things that are intentional, and it helps clear your mind too. As the operator, as we're transitioning to owners, there's a lot of things that are required of you, and a lot is needed of you. So it's good to even just take a walk, just to shake off the things that are going on in your work day. So being healthy, I love that. Your business just as healthy as we are, because it depends on us.
Absolutely.
So I love that. And the other thing I want to say about businesses that I want you to understand are financial statements. A lot of businesses don't understand. You have a balance sheet. They have your assets, your liabilities, and your net worth of your business. If someday you would like to sell your business, they look at that and see what your net worth, based on your assets and your liabilities. The other statement is called a profit and loss statement, and that shows your revenues and your expenses, and that determines whether you have a profit or not. And then the other one is called a statement of cash flows, and it lets you know how liquid your business is. So those are 3 financial statements that I think all businesses should understand, and when they're preparing their books, and it's all based on the information, the transactions that you do on a regular basis on your day-to-day. So
wait a minute, but I'm thinking while you're saying that, so how do you do that for your body? Your lab work? So we look at your lab work to see where your electrolytes are. We want to see how your kidney is functioning.
I love that.
For those of you that do alternative things, which I also provide, we do functional medicine. We can tell you what your body age is. I mean, there's a lot of people that are like they may be 40, but their body age is like 62. And so we can assess and see where all those numbers are, and we can come up with a plan to do some age reversing. You know, there's this thing out there, anti-aging, but no, my practice prides ourselves on doing some age reversal techniques in order for you to have the health and wellness that you need, not only to work your business, but how about enjoy the money that you make?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And you're leaving a legacy.
Leaving a legacy.
Yes.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, until next time, thank you for listening. Remember to like, share, and subscribe.
And turn on that notification bell so you'll know when we're on.
All right. Thank you for watching. See ya.